All right, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. You got your boy Xage here, of course, joined by my new homie, new friend, Justin Chung, artist manager, LA Soul, pop culture king. Welcome to the crew. Tell everybody, say hi.
Thank you for having me.
We don't have to look at the camera, but I do it at the start now to be like, look, we do camera.
Got you. No, that's sick. Thank you for that intro. That's
Dude,
sick.
of course, man. Happy to have you. We'll just jump right into it, man. I'm really curious, what got you into artist management? Because for me, I'm a kid from Delaware. I didn't really have a lot of music background, and you were just telling me off air that like even your dad was involved in the music industry. For me, it was like I found out about the music industry, and the only option that I thought would be cool was an artist manager.
Gotcha.
I've since learned that there's so many other options, and I found myself falling in love with like live music and other things. But it seems clear that your passion is for artist management. So tell me what that's about.
Yeah, you want the long story or the short story?
Hell yes. I want that long story. This is a long form podcast.
So yeah, I was never supposed to be into music.
Okay.
After 8th grade, went to Korea to play basketball for the national team.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so the path was basketball from the jump.
Mm-hmm.
And then in high school, tore my ACL, lost all my scholarships and everything. So I was like, fuck, I can cuss, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. I was like, fuck.
Thank you for asking.
I got to get my academics straight. So got my studies right, got into SC. And then, still just managing the basketball team. Never thought of music.
You managed the basketball team?
Yeah, managed the women's basketball team for a little bit.
Wait, that's really cool. How'd you get that job?
Just straight up cold emailed.
Dude, that's crazy.
Thank you, man. It was a good experience.
Wait, that was at USC?
Yeah.
Dude, that's like a really crazy gig, I feel like.
We'll
talk more about that, but tell me more about the music.
Yeah. But started getting into music a little bit. Got rejected at every internship that I applied to for music related stuff. And then an opportunity came up where I basically had to pitch 10 independent artists to a record label. And then they rejected me. But I was like, it was like 2 months later, I checked out that playlist and I realized there was some talent in there. So I started doing this thing by myself and then found Nick Viner. And yeah, it's kind of how it started.
Dude, okay, cool. That's interesting about the playlist. I had an internship opportunity like that. It was like, send us 3 artists you think are going to make it this year. Yeah. And something like that. And I blew it bad because A&R has never been my thing, man. Discovery.
Who'd you have in there?
Dude, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. I had like Wyatt on there. I had like Gunna, who was already famous, but he was like lower key. I just didn't understand the question because to me, like, I didn't know about A&R. I was so fresh to the music. It was like literally my first month of being in LA, and they were like, "Tell me some artists you think are gonna pop up," and I was like, "Yeah, Gunna."
Pop up. That's facts.
They didn't even respond. I was so embarrassed. Man. Damn, you really got me on that. Yeah. But no, that's crazy. And then I actually think that makes total sense, right? So you made a playlist, and then you come back, and you're like, "Oh shit, some of these songs are actually kind of hard."
Exactly.
Nick was on the list?
No, so that playlist or the whole internship application shit just got me super pissed. So I wanted to listen to Oops by Lil Yachty because that shit just gets me going.
That's a hard song.
Yeah.
It's a slapper.
But I accidentally came across Nick Viner Oops.
No way.
Lil Yachty Oops. Listened to it, checked him out, had like 2,000-3,000 streams. So I was like, I got to reach out to this kid.
No way.
DM'd him on Instagram, saw that we had hella mutual friends from SC.
He's also SC?
He's not from SC, but
okay.
I think he has more friends at SC than I do.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you know how you know these kids? Like,
so he went to a Grammy camp in LA.
Okay.
And that I think a lot of SC music kids went there.
Definitely.
So connected there.
I'm familiar with that concept. They have one at NYU, and since I'm from the East Coast, like a bunch of my boys, they did the NYU one.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I always thought those were cool because it felt to me like a cheeky way of like getting an into the school without like going to the school.
Right.
So that's cool for him.
Yeah.
How has the relationship been since? How long have you been with Nick?
Gosh, we started before COVID, so January, February, around then.
Mm-hmm. Have you learned a lot about like, so he's younger than you?
He is younger than me. He's what, 20 now?
Yeah. I don't even know. So he's 20. How old are you?
I'm 24 years old.
Oh, not that much.
Yeah.
Not that much older. Does he seem more like, this is the first thing that came to my mind, does he seem like more into TikTok than you? Like, I feel like the young kids now, they love TikTok.
Gosh, I think that's the problem. I think I'm more into TikTok than Nick.
You're into TikTok?
Yeah, okay. Even last night, I was up till 4 a.m. watching TikTok. So I'm like, holy shit, I started at 10 p.m. But
It's a true addiction. Yeah. I always use this analogy. It's like, if you're trying to just like blow 2 hours, TikTok's for you, you know? Because it's like, it's gone in a second.
Gosh,
but do you think you're more into TikTok for the like consumption or for the educational purposes? Like, are you trying to market?
It's a good ass question. I'm gonna be honest with you. From the jump, I was like, I'm never getting into TikTok. The only things I saw was like Charlie and Addison doing, all this stuff, and I was like, hell no, I'm not getting into this. But yeah, just seeing Arizona pop off and 24 pop off, I got into it for business reasons, and then I just realized how fucking fun the app is. So yeah, I think for both. To answer
Do you post content?
I don't post content.
I don't post content.
I don't
either.
think anyone would want to post.
Nobody wants to watch your TikToks.
Absolutely
Bro,
not.
don't sell yourself short. I would definitely want to see. I just started posting only for the podcast because I felt like, same as you, man, I feel like it's like a marketing must at this point because it's like a really quick way to get a lot of fresh eyes that wouldn't be seeing your content on your content. Have you been utilizing it with Nick so far?
Yeah, so one of the reasons why we signed with 10K Projects is because they have a joint venture with Flighthouse, and they're in charge of, they're like a digital content marketing company.
I know Flighthouse.
Yeah, they have 20 million followers on TikTok. They host like huge influencers from like Charlie and all them to being responsible for, Doja Cat's, like all of her music.
Okay.
Yeah, just a bunch of other music. But yeah, it's one of the reasons why we decided to sign with them.
With 10K?
Yeah.
How did they hear about you? Oh no, you told me before. You said you cold emailed. That's crazy.
Straight up cold emailed them. Reached out to Flighthouse first because I wanted Nick to be a part of that whole like digital side. But they were like, come into the office, and we just kind of hit off on a relationship.
Dude, that's awesome.
Thank you.
And so you're waiting for the TikTok stuff to happen, right? That's what it is.
Yeah, they've been working tremendously, just weekly meetings.
It's like a whole campaign,
Exactly.
like the TikTok campaign. That's
crazy.
Another
thing, bro. I didn't realize how much goes into like a single TikTok.
Of course,
video.
bro.
Yeah, it's insane.
Tell me what you mean, though.
I go on TikTok, I think Charlie's just dancing or whatever, but then there's so much strategy behind it versus like where she's doing it, what song she's dancing to, realizing people are paying like $15K to have one song in a video, like that type of stuff. So
the data analytics.
Exactly.
Have you become more focused on data as you become like an artist manager?
I want to say yes, but don't think so.
Okay.
I'm not.
I feel you. It's interesting. I would probably say the exact same thing if someone asked me that because like, are you familiar? Oh no, so you went to SC, but you were in Dornsife and Marshall, and I was in Thornton. So we had like different experiences. But I had a class called Big Data, and it was by Mike Kaminsky, who I was going to mention to you because he actually does the merchandising for Flighthouse. Okay. So that's how I got to hear about Flighthouse. Anyway, the data class, it was really eye-opening, and it really taught me like how important data is, how often it's being used. Like, even though we think we're conscious of it, so much more is happening under the table than we realize,
Facts.
But similar to your point, like I don't really like, now that I know it's there, I don't act any differently. I don't like pay attention to it or try to do anything with it, But I think that is the point. That's interesting.
100%.
I'm sure once your campaign starts and you're like collecting data, you'll start to do more crazy shit with it.
Absolutely. I think data-wise, I'm just more focused on Spotify, Apple, that type of data.
And that makes sense because you're an artist manager. I think that makes total sense.
Right. But TikTok data, it's all on the label side. So.
Right? I feel the same way. What have you learned from, so was there anybody you were managing? Well, okay, so you did the basketball team. Was there anything between that and Nick?
Yeah, so I started interning for Scooter Braun projects.
Okay.
Shout out Nick Scully for kind of plugging me there.
I know of Nick Scully. I still haven't met him.
Okay, yeah, Oros guy. Yeah, so he was working at Scooter, and he kind of introduced me to the job. And so I went in as a legal intern, and that's cool. Kind of another eye-opening experience in terms of like music world. But between USC and Nick, that was just kind of it.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
So I was gonna ask, like, were you invested or involved in like paying attention to Spotify numbers and stuff like that before Nick?
Yeah, so my job at Scooter was basically analyzing like numbers from Bieber to Ariana, all their bigger artists, and figuring out why numbers would dip and why numbers would trigger on like Spotify, Apple, to their like Instagram, Twitter, everything. So I was really introduced to like those kind of numbers then. But
it's interesting, like their engagement ratios and shit like that. What did you learn about that? Because I always think it's so interesting, right? Like you can have two people with the exact same amount of followers, say they each have like 1 million followers, and if they like both try to sell merchandise, one might sell like 10,000 t-shirts and one might sell like 100.
Right.
And it has to do with like literally like what you're talking about, like their level of engagement. Like, okay, cool, you have followers, but then do people engage with your content or do they just follow you because they're there.
Right.
Did you learn anything interesting about like engagement ratios and shit like that?
100%. I think a good point is, for example, a guy like Bieber, there's so many people that don't follow him, but go on his profile to check his posts out.
Yeah, see, like that's interesting.
Right. So I think just the type of person you are has a huge influence into like number wise. And I don't think followers really do justice in terms of who's doing better, who's like getting more engagement. But yeah, that was kind of crazy.
Dude, I love that point because I've been making this point the past couple months where it's like, this isn't an original idea I had. I stole it from somewhere else. But he was basically saying, if you're on Twitter and you see a tweet with 1 million retweets, you are more likely to believe whatever it says as fact than a tweet you see with 100 retweets.
100%.
And it's the same thing with the follower count. Like you're saying, like it doesn't really matter how many followers it has because that's not a true number of how many people are actually paying attention.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Dude, that is interesting.
100%.
We live in a society. We really do. I am extremely curious how we got from managing a basketball team to actually, I think I want to do A&R or management of music. Where did that occur?
Yeah. So kind of going back to the story about, me applying to internships and creating that playlist. I was exposed to a lot of artist managers, especially at USC.
Okay.
And I would never be interested in it in terms of like, oh, I want to do this. But I just found gaps in terms of like, I feel like I could do this better. I feel like I could do that better. And then I also developed relationships with other artist managers and people who work in music. And I was like, I could probably do this shit. So I reached out to Nick, reached out to Jack, and kind of did my own thing. But yeah, it was just the passion of, trying to figure out where people lack in terms of like artist management that just got me going. And yeah.
I love that. I love the idea of, my thing is I can't remember the expression I heard, but this one guy came to speak at USC and he said this thing that was basically like, I'm not smart, I'm stupid. I just look at what smart people do and I just copy it. And I have actually acknowledged myself doing the same thing. Like, I don't know what's good, but I know who's good. And I can acknowledge like what they did to get there.
100%.
And if you can find a flaw in their way and like fix it, then aren't you therefore better than them at that time?
Right.
Like, that's pretty huge.
100%.
Was there anybody as like a mentor figure that helped you get into these positions, or was it really a matter of like connecting with your peers?
Yeah. So my dad always tells me like, reach out to me or whatever to get some help because he works in K-pop. So he's pretty connected in the Korean music world. But my road, I feel like I was really just by myself. And I feel like people in the music industry are very sus in terms of like giving out advice and shit like that because I guess their relationships are what got them in certain places. So it's kind of tough reaching out to people in the music industry. But I think it was really just me and utilizing my relationships at USC and my previous internships. And yeah, but in terms of mentor, I think Scooter Braun, he's the biggest guy in the world and even better individual. So he's like one of the biggest mentors. Alex Valenti graduated at USC.
I know her.
Yeah.
I know her.
Just Peachtree.
Bro, I interned, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Alex, she works for someone else now, right?
So she's the head of 3V, a management group, and they manage like Peachtree, Stone, yeah.
With a guy though, doesn't she?
Yeah, with another guy. I don't know his name.
I can't think of his damn Michael something. But I interned for them.
Really?
Michael and Alex.
Fire.
But I did no work. It was literally like weeks after he left Scooter.
Okay.
And they started to do their own thing.
Gotcha.
And they were like, okay, we want to bring more USC kids on, but they had no direction. And they were kind of just like, go do something. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So it just like organically didn't work out for the best.
Gotcha.
But that's interesting. So I know who you're talking about. But sorry to cut off your story. Sorry.
No, but she's been the go-to person if I have any questions now.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, she's been the GOAT. So
dude,
I call her GOAT.
You call her the GOAT?
Yeah.
No, she's really sweet. So dude, that's cool to hear her name again. I should just say hi or something.
No, 100%.
Definitely. Or you tell her I said hi.
I will. I'll shoot her a text right now.
Yeah, that's cool. So, actually, something I am curious about.
Yeah.
And look, man, I hope this doesn't come across wrong to you or anybody that's listening, but
let's do it.
You're an Asian guy.
Yeah.
You're managing the female basketball team.
Right.
Is it mostly black girls?
100%. Yeah.
Did you get along with the group?
Here's my thing, bro. In high school, being a basketball player, I only had black friends.
Sure.
And, all of my black friends would be like, Jay, like you were born in a wrong body. Like you're I'm gonna be honest with you. Like okay. I'm gonna tell you a story.
Respect the
actually,
culture.
100%.
Yeah.
So freshman year, I get moved up to the JV team. All the freshmen that got moved up to JV, I'm like, yo, let's kick it at my place. Let's just have like a little freshman, like whatever, like a little hangout.
Definitely.
My mom brings out watermelon and chicken. Because that's what we eat like every day. And so my boy Josh comes up to me and he's like, bro, like, did you get this because of us? Or like, what's going on? And I'm like, dude, I eat this every day. So long story short, I mean, I got along with the women's team super well.
Yeah, clearly.
And we always dap each other up when we're hanging out. And yeah.
Dude, that is really cool. When you were told that story, when you were saying like, yeah, I was the manager for the team, I was just picturing you being like sort of the guy on the side, like watching, you know, and nobody's like dapping you up, to say the least.
Right.
No, that's awesome. But I you did say you played ball, so I figured that would be the case, that you respected the culture and stuff like that. I was gonna start talking about something else.
No, that's a great question.
Thank you. Did you learn anything from managing a sports team at USC? Because in my opinion, it's I would call that a respected position. We got good sports here. People look up to our sports teams.
Yeah.
Was it cool?
100% great experience. I didn't realize how much work goes in behind the scenes, being on the team. From like the director of operations to the film people to just being a manager, I think everyone just puts in so much work.
Would you say the same about the music industry?
In terms of
the support from the team and people not realizing how much is going on?
Absolutely, yeah. I think an artist really, and you know how like everyone's like, oh, I want to be an independent artist, but I think the best independent artists still have a team behind them that's,
of course,
that's killing it for them.
That's a huge point, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you assist in Nick's direction artistically, or do you take a sit back role and manage what he brings to you?
I think Nick and I have that mutual understanding where Nick will bring up all the directions that he wants to go to, and I'll give him advice and kind of capitalize on what he wants to do. So I never touch, like, I don't tell him like, oh, I want you to go this route. So he'll always bring up the ideas, and I just kind of capitalize from there. Yeah.
Does that seem to work?
I think it's working so far. Yeah,
definitely.
I mean, Nick's a fucking genius. I think the biggest thing he needs to work on is getting his ass up, stop watching Netflix, and
who doesn't? I feel like everybody has to work on that, especially with quarantine.
100%. But when he gets to work, man, he's just a maniac. Like, definitely. He knows what he's doing.
So I didn't even get to say, but our experience, we met at a Nick Viner music video shoot. The Oros people. Someone from Oros was directing the video, Ava Dorley, right. And they put out like, we need extras or whatever. And I was like, I need to meet people. I've been sitting inside all day, every day. Ran into you, and I can concur. Nick, for a kid, I was like extremely impressed about like how much he was running around, bringing up his input, saying like what could be better. Yes, we need to reshoot this, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
That is like an artist to me. That's
I appreciate that. Yeah. You got the story wrong. So my perspective is,
tell me.
I go to the music video. I see the extras. We have that scene in the room where all the extras are dancing, right? There's one extra that's just going crazy with the dance moves.
Are you talking about me?
So I come up to you.
Bro.
You were hitting the elbows. You were hitting the...
It's true. Anybody who knows me, they know my dance.
That's the version that we're going to go with.
All right. Yeah. I love that, bro. Thank you. Bro, that was the cool experience. I've never been to a shoot before. I'm assuming you have?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was my first time. And I was like, this is legit. The Oros people, they go hard. Ava, we'll just say Ava, because I felt like that was more an Ava project than like an Oros project.
Yeah.
She went hard, bro. She got like 100%. The whole team. Who? I mean, I hope this isn't weird, but like, did you guys pay for that? The label? Who pays for that?
Yeah, the label pays for it.
Yeah. I figured.
That's kind of a 10K? Budget for us. 10K in Flyhouse, yeah.
I don't want to ask you like numbers or anything at all, but I'm curious, like, what was the process of like signing a contract to them? Did you guys have to like go back and forth? Did you sign a contract? Like, tell me about that experience.
Yeah. I don't know how much in depth I can get into it, please, but definitely a long process. It starts off with like the structure of the deal, how long you want it to be versus how many songs. And then, just finding that mutual balance of just where you guys want to meet in terms of like how many songs you want to release and the advance and stuff like that. But,
and I imagine that can be particular because I've been paying more attention to like how set up the music industry is to fuck artists over. Like, that's kind of how I feel about it at this point, at least from a major label standpoint. 10K might be different because it's like a little more indie. I know it's like those internet kids, right? So they might be a little more down to earth. But you didn't experience anything like that. It was all pretty chill.
Yeah, 10K is the best. I mean,
Shut up.
From the top man, Elliot, to the lowest guy. I don't know who that would be, but they're the absolute greatest. And I was actually talking to my other artist, Jack, about this, but I feel like the music industry has that reputation of being fucked up because certain artists don't know what they're signing. So they kind of get themselves fucked up.
Well, I completely agree, but don't you think it's still rude that the label's like, okay, this guy's stupid, so we're going to take advantage?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
But I completely agree with your point. Yes, everyone should be more educated.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think if you go in there with the right team and the right set of eyes to look at the paperwork that you're signing, then you wouldn't be fucking yourselves up. But 100% your point.
And I agree. I think you're right. Like and I think it's more prevalent to your point because rap culture is so huge right now and hip hop is so huge right now. And what's particularly in is like guys from the street, guys from the hood, not guys who went to college to learn the music business,
Right.
So I think it's very easy to manipulate those guys and try and take advantage of them, which is fucked up.
Absolutely, yeah.
But what's really cool, and what I'm glad we're talking about with 10K, is that we're seeing all these like smaller labels, independent labels, like coming up and having more love for the artist and the art and not for the money. And I've been thinking a lot about this for this year, taking down the gatekeepers. I consider like major labels a gatekeeper. Like 10 years ago, if you wanted to be an artist, you had to sign to a major label. Therefore, they were a gatekeeper.
Right.
But now it's like if you have a laptop and a TikTok account, you can be a major artist tomorrow.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I really hope that we see more like independent stuff happening. Do you think that we will?
Absolutely. I think especially with the boom of TikTok and just the whole nature of COVID and quarantine, I think the opportunity is there. And our joint venture at 10K and Flight House, it's called Solo Brightest. And they focus on kids who just record out of their bedrooms and just have that unique sound coming out.
That's cool.
Yeah, just their homes. So
that's
I really
cool.
see an opportunity for that.
How important are you finding diversifying the artist portfolio? I find that today's musical artists, they can't just be an artist. They also have to be a dancer, an influencer, a content creator, a brand ambassador or something.
Right.
Do you think that that's true? And do you think that you and Nick are prepared to diversify? What is your diversification?
Yeah, absolutely. I think at the end of the day, music is music. Good music will be out there. But to take it to that next level, you definitely need the full package. And I think one thing about Nick, or for example, I'll start with Jack, my other artist. He has around 40K on TikTok right now.
What's Jack's artist name? Is it
Jack Olmstead?
Jack Olmstead.
Yeah, from Toronto, Canada. But yeah, he specializes in TikTok. He does a lot of the dances that I'm not too familiar with.
Sure.
But yeah, I think that's super necessary. So many artists just think that, good music, that's all I need. But I think you need to be able to speak. You need to be able to have that it factor that you're talking about. But yeah.
The character, the persona. I do agree with that. I also think, and I want to kind of spiral this into the Nick conversation more. Well, how long have you been with Jack, actually?
Jack, we started during quarantine.
Okay.
Back in, I want to say April, May.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to have a discussion about touring. And so if you started with these guys after March, there was no tour,
No.
And I find it interesting because our conversation was about diversifying the portfolio. I don't think that was as true last year when you could tour. Because your diversification would be I'm making music and my show is lit,
Right.
And that was enough. But now there's no shows. I'm curious, have you guys been having a discussion about when you can get back on the road, if you want to get back on the road, creative ways to connect with fans because there is no road, stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's always, Nick's said that from day one that he just wants to go on tour one day and just travel around the world and perform his music. But I think a good example is Peachtree Rascals. Again, I bring up Alex's group, but they haven't performed or done a live performance once.
Really?
And they've been killing it, yeah.
That is crazy.
So I think just us focusing on right now and how we could make or take advantage of what's going on with, everyone being quarantined. But yeah, definitely something that we're thinking about in the future.
How have they been capitalizing, the Peachtree Rascals?
Yeah, from TikTok influencer to them holding little live stream events. And yeah, just that way. I don't really know too much, but yeah, they've been killing it.
I was just curious. Do you watch the live stream events? And any live stream events?
Yeah, I watch WFNM a lot. Their
is that?
little Wednesday showcase called "We Found You Music."
Okay.
Yeah, and they they have like indie artists, independent artists perform like 3 to 4 every Wednesday, and so I'm always tuned in there.
That's pretty cool.
Color Studio, I think, is always cool.
Never heard of it.
Color Studio, they're one of those like live stream YouTube live performances. But yeah, bro, I just think like live stream is just so different from concerts, and because the whole interaction's different. Yeah, I want to know what you think.
I agree, bro. Yeah. I think with the concerts, like every day I think about how much I really want to get back to being in a crowd with a bunch of dirty hippies. I really do, because
dirty hippies.
That's my people, man. Like I used to go on the road. I was like I worked festivals. Yeah. My dad owns a kitchen, and he used to sell food at festivals, and that's like that was where I found myself. You know? But I completely agree. Like when you're watching an artist through a stream, it actually to me is like almost depressing, because I'm like, it's not good enough, and it's making me think about the thing that I wish I could have more.
Right.
So I have been like almost actively avoiding live streams, unless it's like something spectacular, you know, like Travis Scott on Fortnite. Like that's a spectacular event. You know? Right. I have to look at that, obviously. Yeah.
Oh, what Travis has done during this quarantine is insane.
He is probably the biggest brand in the world, like ever.
Big facts, from like McDonald's to Fortnite to...
Yes. I was talking to Kevin Lyman, who I shouted out. He said Trav made, I mean, he doesn't know for a fact, but he approximated that Trav made $20 million from McDonald's and $20 million from Fortnite. So $40 million this year without putting out an album.
That is insane.
Yeah, which is completely insane. And actually, it brought up a really interesting discussion that I would love to have with you. I was saying, yes, that's cool, but a conversation that Wyatt and I had was like, now Travis Scott's a meme to a lot of people. He's like, oh, he's the burger guy, or he's the Fortnite guy. You know, like he's no longer this respected like Houston artist that he once was, at least to a lot of people. I said that to Kevin, and he was like, okay, but he made $40 million this year, you know? Right. And so that was like a back and forth we had, where I was like, yeah, that's really great. And sure, he just like secured his family life for the rest of his life. But like, don't you want to not be a meme? And he kind of was just like, you know, I don't think that the grand majority of people have lost respect for him from this. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think for someone with Travis Scott's status, I think any publicity is good publicity. Mm-hmm. And another good point that you brought up about the meme. So do you remember when Drake's Hotline Bling came out?
Yes.
And he was the walking fucking meme.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if this is, I forgot who I heard this from. It was from like a USC professor, but there were words that he and his team invested with Apple for people to make fun of him. So he was behind all that shit. So obviously Twitter's talking about it, Instagram's talking about him. Like, I think any publicity at that point, just keep the hype going, and
you just want to be relevant.
Exactly.
I guess that's true. And actually, it kind of relates to what we were saying about like the music is just like a part of your portfolio.
Exactly.
You know, like if people are starting to lose respect for the music, it's only just one thing you do. Like you have all this other shit you're doing too.
100%.
That is interesting. So I guess, I agreed with Kevin by the end of the conversation too. I was like, 40 million is 40 million. I guess I would be a meme for 40 million too, you know?
Yeah, what would you do if you had 40 million in your pocket?
Dude, I don't even know. I'm trying to learn how to invest right now. I'd probably like learn how to invest.
All the GameStop, AMC shit.
Yeah, you know? I started to pay attention to investing when the stock market crashed in March.
Okay.
But I was broke. I crashed too. Like there was nothing going on. So I couldn't make money because I had no money. And then for the past couple months, it's actually really funny. Kind of, not that funny. But last couple months, I was trying to get a Robinhood account set up.
Okay.
Are you familiar?
Yeah, I have a Robinhood. Of course,
right? Yeah. And it wasn't working because they wanted a picture of my social security card. And I was like, why do you need this from me? And then nobody else had to submit this. So I even reached out to them like 2 days before GameStop happened. And I was like, hey, you're asking for my card. I don't even have one. Can I just set up an account? And then like 2 days later, GME happens, Robinhood's a scam, like all this crazy shit. And I was just like, okay, I guess I'm not going to sign up for Robinhood. You know? So I signed up for just a different trading company, but it got me more interested in trading, and I've been trying to pay more attention to it. Is that anything you pay attention to?
Yeah, man. My mom and I have been cooking up research like every night.
Oh, so, yeah? Prior to all this crazy shit too?
Prior to the shit. So I'd say like 6 years ago.
Oh, dude, you've been on the wave.
And yeah, I've been on it.
How has that been? Can you speak on it at all?
Yeah, it's a journey. I could
bring out the Carfax?
Yeah, I could bring
Sure. Dude, my boy, I was talking to my friend last night. I'll shout out Luke Woods. he said this thing. So he's a nurse now. He like just started becoming a legit nurse. So he's making money, you know? And he was like, I hope to have $100,000 in a bank account, not in assets, like by the time I'm 23. That's what he said. And I was like, that's a really good goal to have. It seems a little far-fetched.
Right.
I said to him, I was like, that seems a little high, but that's a good goal to have. And the point was just saying, like, you know, if he routinely puts money into his investments and makes safe bets and like allows his money to make money, that he could do it.
Yeah. I've never been into the whole like day trading thing. Like, I'm just thinking about long term.
Dude, I'm not trying to gamble either, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say the number, but I'm going to say that I'm up 130% of my investment. So
from 6 years ago or from like?
From 6 years ago. So just steady growth.
Dude, and actually I'm so unfamiliar, so I don't exactly know what that means. But if you're saying like, is that 130% of all the money you've put in since the past 6 years?
Right. So if I put in $10, then right now I'd be up $13.
Okay. Wow.
So $23 total.
Dude, that's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah, that is fantastic. And I was telling him, and part of the conversation we had was he was showing me this graph from this year. And he was like, look at how much money I made this year. And I was like, okay, yeah, bro, we had to rebuild our whole economy this year. I was like, you shouldn't expect every year to be like this,
right.
You know? But I was like, I agree, it will be an incline. Like that is the idea here. If you do like the safe small bets, it's always a steady incline, right?
Right.
So I agreed with him on that. But I was like, just don't let this year speak for every year. You know?
Absolutely.
It's been a very particular year.
Yep.
Well, that is cool, man. I want to know more about stocks. I wish I could have a better conversation with you about it. Do you pay attention?
I'm not the right person to ask.
Okay, good. Do you pay attention to Bitcoin?
Bitcoin, a little bit.
A little bit?
Here and there. Bro, my thing is like, going kind of off topic, but...
No such thing.
Bro, for example, Zoom. Like we knew Zoom was going to go crazy when quarantine happened and all the schools went to it. And then Zoom popped off for like 200%. So like, I think just being aware of what's happening in the world instead of like being that whole like statistician and looking at the graphs and shit. Like I saw, do you know what Square is? The thing where you put on the like iPad, swipe your credit card?
Mm-hmm.
I saw that shit and I was like, bro, so many people are going to use this. So I invested it back then and got me a little bit of money. But I just feel like that's the way I approach it.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the most commonsensical way to do it.
Right.
I really do, because he was showing me, I just learned, I don't even remember what it is, EFK, ETK. It's like where it splits up the stocks into a bunch of small stocks.
Right.
You know about it?
Yeah.
I don't really. But he was like, one of the ones he had in there was Roku. And I was like, oh, that makes total sense. Like nobody uses cable anymore. Everybody has Roku. Exactly. He's just like making money off Roku because everybody's buying it now.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that makes sense. So I agree with what you said.
Absolutely.
I think we're going to see a lot of changing things this year because everything has to adapt from COVID.
Right.
So if you could like jump on the right thing that's changing now, it'll be pretty big later.
Absolutely.
Do you have faith? And since we were talking about the road a little bit, do you have faith in the human population to get us back to touring? Or do you think we're going to be kind of off the road for a significant amount of time?
Yeah, bro, I don't even know. To be honest with you, I think so many people are investing into live streams now that scares me, to be honest with you, because I just want to get, first of all, I want to attend a freaking concert.
So badly.
At the same time, I want my artists to be on the road as well. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, even law school, like I start in July.
You going back?
So I got done with SC and then got into law school. So I'm going to be going to law school in July.
Dude, that's crazy. Where at?
Southwestern. So they have a 2-year program.
Holy shit.
Versus 3. So, but even that, bro, I don't even know if it's going to be in person or Zoom. Like, I don't think anyone knows what the fuck is going on.
True, bro. Yeah. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, man.
Well, first I want to ask, what made you think that, or what drove you to go back to get your master's?
Yeah, I took a couple business law classes at USC. Was super interested. Also, the show Suits on Amazon. That shit got me going.
I'm not familiar. That's funny.
Yeah, that show's insane, bro. Watch it. The first episode will just get you hooked.
Okay.
But yeah, bro. And my parents have always said like getting a law degree will help you in terms of whatever business you want to get into.
It's true.
And I think while I was negotiating Nick's deal with 10K, that shit really hit me where if I was a lawyer, I think I could have done this shit way faster and saved Nick a lot of time.
True. And maybe more money. I mean, that's okay to admit.
100%.
That's interesting. I watched this TikTok of Chameleonaire. I think that's his name, right? The older rapper, OG guy. And he was talking about how when he was first getting signed, who did he say came to him? Another rapper came to him and was like, hey man, you need to do this thing. It's called an audit. And he was like, you got to audit your label because they're taking money from you. And he was like, what? And he said he did his first audit and they had like $600,000 of extra money that they were hiding from him.
Crazy.
So I think I agree. Having a good law degree would definitely benefit in that world for sure.
Yeah.
I just am so hesitant to spend more time and money on school That's just like, and it's really not to shade anyone who gets a law degree. Like I have huge respect. So many of my friends are going back for law, master's, doctorate, whatever.
Right.
It just doesn't seem like my bag, but I'm also not an academic kid. Did you care about academics when you were growing up?
Yeah, I think being from an Asian household,
Fair enough.
I wouldn't say I was a stereotypical family, but definitely academics was important to me.
Sure.
But to go off your point, bro, I think so many people would benefit not going to master's or not getting another degree from grad school because they just got it going on right now. They have like a fire job, like an entry position job, and they could work their way up, then I'd rather be in that position. But
definitely.
Yeah, I think for the world that I want to be working in, entertainment and music industry, I think would be beneficial for me.
I really do get it. And also like to say that you could fall back, like your fallback option is to be a lawyer, like that's kind of huge, you know?
Absolutely.
You know, like that's like big money moves.
Yeah,
that is
appreciate you, bro.
Dude, yeah, of course. And I was also going to say, I think you're very social. And to me, the greatest thing I got out of college, period, anywhere, anything, was just meeting people.
Big facts,
period.
Yeah.
And so like to spend 2 more years in a position where I'm like constantly surrounded by new people, meeting new people, that would be worth it to me.
Would you say that the biggest value of USC was more of meeting people and growing relationships over the academics?
I think academics, period, since I was 5, that's how I felt. Like,
right.
It's all about the people you're meeting. I don't know if it's because I've become more jaded and I now have like a huge issue with our entire academic structure as a nation, because I really do. I actually really do. But it's like, it also could be me being biased from being a part of the entertainment industry where it really is like who you know, like
right.
It really is. Whereas I have friends who are engineers and doctors and it was a matter of like they had to study and do well. So again, I could be biased, but I really do think like the whole thing, we can just say about for USC for now, the whole thing about USC for me was like, okay, a really, you know, intelligent, knowledgeable, a really respected community here accepted all of these people to come be a part of the community. Therefore, you're all cool to me, you know? And like, it doesn't have to be USC. It could be any college. But like, if you go to a college, you're happy to be a part of that community. Therefore, you should have respect for everybody else that's happy to be a part of that community.
Absolutely.
And so then you just meet people.
Perfect words, yeah.
Thank you. And I think like, yeah, I think it's all about meeting people. Don't get me wrong. I needed to learn a lot of what I did at USC. Like, I like how in college you get to pick a major and take classes that you want to take.
Right.
And I don't like how they make you take other classes that you don't want to take. You know?
Like G's and shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like I couldn't tell you a single thing I learned from any of my G's, but I could tell you some really cool stuff I learned about like merchandising, touring, branding from my music classes.
Right.
So I'm not trying to shit on them, but to answer your question, I think I land in the middle.
Gotcha.
I
Makes
do,
sense, yeah.
We'll say leaning towards the social side, but
Gotcha.
I do land in the middle. What was your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm on the same boat as you. Don't remember shit of all the science G's I took. And I took my math G my senior year because I didn't want to do it well. Yeah.
I did too.
Right, yeah. But yeah, my freshman, sophomore year, I was just washed up and I was just thinking that fraternity life is a religion.
Oh, were you in a fraternity?
Yeah, I was in CBT.
Okay.
That's where I met all the Oros boys and they're all my pledge class.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know they were all in a frat.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
We all quit junior year.
That makes sense too. Yeah, that makes sense too.
But yeah, freshman, sophomore year, man, that was a fucking religion for me. I mean, yeah, that was it. And my grades slipped off a bit and I was like, I don't give a fuck because I got to get into this fraternity. I got to get past pledging and everything. But yeah, man, I'm in the same boat as you.
Dude, I know how that can be. I was in a fraternity I was a transfer student. I was in a school in New Jersey for 2 years. And the reason I left is because I felt like an outcast there. And to solve that problem while I was there, I joined a fraternity to try and make friends. And it wasn't like I would even tell them to their faces while I was there, like, hey boys, like I fuck with you guys and we're all cool, but like, this is not my life. You know, like I'm just here to be cool with you guys.
Right.
And I saw the scale. Like there were people who agreed with me on that. And then there were people who like that was their entire life. And I saw like some good shit happen to people because of it and some bad shit happen to people because of it. So I am totally familiar with what you're talking about.
Yeah, never been in New Jersey, but yeah, I think it's
Lucky
pretty,
you.
I think it's impossible to not get along with you. So they missed out.
Dude, yes. I also can't even imagine what the Greek life is at USC compared to like where I was in New Jersey. It was very low key, like not super culturally relevant. Whereas I feel at USC, it's like we have the Greek life, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
No, totally.
Do you still associate with a lot of the guys from the Greek life or is it primarily like?
No.
Yeah.
I'm in a couple group chats. I mean, I think that's as much as I interact with them. But and no shade to anyone that's in there. I mean, they're all great people at the end of the day. But yeah, like I told you, I quit after I think 1 or 2 semesters and just kind of found my own group.
Definitely, you did what was right for you. And at the time, that was probably what you needed, was to like, okay, I got to go see what's up with this, check out this group,
100%.
see if I fit.
Yeah,
definitely. What else can we discuss? Wait, you went to Korea?
Yeah, man. Went to Korea after 8th grade.
Really?
Yeah.
For how long?
Gosh, it was supposed to be a full year, but came back after like 5 or 6 because tore my ACL.
Dude, but, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean,
because like in my opinion, your whole life is like focused on basketball. It probably sucked when it couldn't. Look, it all worked out, so I'm glad that we can talk about it in this like limelight where
absolutely
you get to do everything that you want to do now. But was it really shitty when that happened? Like, was it emotionally draining as well?
Right. Yeah, I thought it was the end of the world for me.
That's what I figure.
It's been, training every day, getting ready for the national team, and then seeing college letters come in, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm ready to go to school like for free
for ball
by playing basketball. But I tell my mom this, like, it's the best thing that could have happened to me, because if I stayed in that route, I would probably been like, at best, like playing it overseas and, making probably a good amount of money. But yeah, I mean, I would have never thought of law school, would have never thought of, working in the entertainment industry. So
it would have been completely different.
Exactly.
Do you remember the day you broke your ACL?
Tore your ACL? Clearly, bro.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, so
I would love to hear the story.
Yeah, just guarding a kid. He hits a little crossover, and I just plant my leg, and it just gives a little tweak, but it was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life.
Yeah.
Supposedly it's worse if you tear completely, but I tore mine like 80, 90%.
Lucky you, I guess.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Ambulance?
No, so I just piggybacked on my dad. He just kind of carried me out. But
as any young man would.
Right. Yeah. But our trainer goes, you tore your anterior cruciate ligament. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. And then I'm just waiting there. I'm like, holy shit, that stands for ACL. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, I tore my ACL.
Oh my God. Did they say it like that because they were trying to like lighten it? Or they were just being blunt?
I think it's just him being a doctor, and he just said it straight up.
Dude, that's crazy. I wonder if he was like trying to be like, yo, kid, you broke your ACL, but he wasn't trying, That's crazy, man. And then was it very quickly that you came back to the States, or what's up?
Yeah, I came back right away.
It's crazy.
I went to rehab, and tore my ACL again my sophomore year. So that's when I was like, yeah, I'm done with basketball.
Damn. Yeah. Well, man. Was it the same ACL?
2 different knees. So I have 2 fucked up knees.
Dude, that's crazy. Do you do PT now? Is it something that's like a long-term effect?
No, I'm good now. Okay, Sad part is during quarantine, I haven't been working out, so haven't really tested out my knee.
Fair enough.
I could walk fine, jump fine.
Definitely, yeah. I figured as much. I just don't know. Like, I don't know anything. I'm a pussy, so I never like broke a bone or anything. The worst thing I ever got was
not being
stitches.
A pussy. That's a good thing.
I don't know. Is it? I always feel like people from my parents' generation, like, everybody broke all their bones. Like they got into fights and did really dumb shit. And I don't know if I just like am a child of the internet, so I was inside more or what, but I seriously like never hurt myself.
Bro, it's wild when it gets cold or when it rains the next day. Like my knee hurts the night before.
Really?
Supposedly it's like an actual thing where there's like nails in your knees and it just causes some shit.
Do you have like pieces of metal in your knees?
Yeah, bro. I mean, it doesn't
crazy.
Go off when you go through the security shit at the airport, but
they're there.
It's in
That's
there.
crazy. And I actually totally believe you then. Yeah. I mean, metal definitely is like conducive to the weather.
Right.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah,
so I'm like, bizarre.
Mom, my knee hurts.
You're kind of like a superhero.
Bro, for real. They need like KCal9 or some shit. They used to hire me. ABC, NBC.
Dude, that's so cool. What are your parents' perception? Like you said before, your whole life was planning to go to basketball, and then everything kind of had to hit a switch. You clearly do well. How was your parents' reaction to everything along the way?
Yeah, I think I'm so blessed and lucky to have supportive parents.
Fuck yeah.
And I think my dad, working in the entertainment industry, he fully supports me. My mom fully supports me. My biggest fans and my best friends as well.
That's the shit we want to hear. I call my parents my best friends too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Do you like K-pop music?
Yeah, I fuck with it. Yeah, okay. I fuck with, there's a group called Big Bang.
Okay, I'm not familiar.
And I think they're like the rebels of K-pop. I'm not into like the traditional K-pop.
Sure, I figured.
Yeah, but Big Bang, they're the ones who put me on. They're like very trap like hard ass shit.
Is it a bunch of guys?
5 guys, yeah.
Dude, Wyatt, do we know them? Is his door open? Big Bang? There was a phase. So we're friends with this kid. His name's Max Iwamasa.
Okay.
And he came over here like last year and he was well into K-pop. Like, I think, oh man, I don't want to be racist. I don't know if Max is Korean or Japanese. I can't remember. Is Max Korean or Japanese? Wyatt? Yeah, Max is Japanese, but that's why I was like, I don't think he is Korean.
Yeah,
but he was really into K-pop, and he came over one time and he played me some K-pop music, and I didn't like it as much, but Wyatt loved it, and so like Wyatt got like sort of into K-pop.
Do you remember who you played?
No, and that's why I asked Wyatt. My brain like doesn't remember anything like that, but we got really never heard of KBBQ in my entire life until I moved to LA. Yep. Okay, and then so. I was like, oh shit, Korean barbecue's lit. K-pop's kind of lit. Like they dance. I was like, I fuck with the Korean scene now, you know?
There you go.
So that's why I was wondering if you liked it too.
You ever had soju?
No.
Bro, you gotta.
Is that a beverage?
Oh, you have it in your fridge. What are we doing?
I don't know. You want to sip some now?
Should we bring it out now?
Dude, yeah. You want to take a shot?
Let's do it.
Yeah. What is it not sake?
It's like a Korean alcohol drink. But
Is this the bottle that... Yeah.
Hey, why? You gonna take one too or what?
Take a shot, White? Man, why did you ask about the soju? You love it?
Oh, I was just gonna say you were saying you fuck with the culture, so I had to ask about.
This bottle has been here for a while.
Yeah, it's not going bad. Alcohol is alcohol. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Generous pours.
I don't know what's appropriate, dude.
Flavors? Is this regular?
This is regular.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a little rough.
Got you.
Shall we?
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, boys. To a Tuesday afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what a good time.
Smoother than like hard alcohol.
Oh, significantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was nothing.
Right.
Dude, shit, I guess I'm getting drunk today. It's like,
greatest podcast in the world.
Here, let me see where we're at.
Complimentary soju.
Yeah, we're at like around a closing time. Is there anything that you wanted to bring up that we didn't get to that you want to shout out to the people? Like, this is your outro, man. What do you
man.
say?
First of all, you're the GOAT. I mean, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
I think the podcast is hilarious and awesome.
Thank you, bro.
But yeah, stay intact with Nick Viner and Jack Olmstead. They got some shit coming out, and make sure you stream Mood Swing.
50K on YouTube.
50K on YouTube, and you'll find this man in the extras. So
you'll see my silhouette, baby.
Yes, sir.
Dancing those moves. I can't believe you said that, bro. That's so funny.
Exactly. Yeah,
I'm flattered.
You'll see him hitting the
But it's true, man. Anything else you want to say?
I think that's that, bro. Thank you for having me.
Of course, bro. Thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure. Justin, love chatting. Justin Chung, your @ will be in the bio. Everybody make sure you follow. I totally agree. Mood Swings, Nick Viner is a bop. Who produced it? You told me somebody respectable.
Yeah, Stanley Randolph, who's Stevie Wonder's drummer.
Yep.
And then mixed by Alex Toomey.
Oh, and we stand Alex Toomey.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. That means it's a professional song. For anybody who doesn't know, that means that shit is legit, okay?
Facts.
All right. If you made it this far, I love you,
brother.
and I appreciate you. Thanks for coming on. Everybody, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Peace.
True stings, you could call it a mood swing. Because I didn't bag it up, I thought I had a second longer. New things, I was dodging my new frame. Only took a couple days to break it up and back away. We don't need to talk right now. We don't gotta do too much. I just wanna take some time. Maybe you could open up. I don't wanna get involved, but I don't wanna leave you alone if you need me. I don't wanna put you out, but you've been ruining the fun. I don't wanna get involved, but I don't wanna leave you alone if you need me. I don't wanna put you out, but you've been ruining the fun. 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 Think I need an upgrade. Gotta find a good space. This shit been dodging me 2 days, and I'm still going back to my old ways. I don't need to play nice, and I don't really got time for a bold-faced lie and a good high when I feel like I'm out on the front lines. We don't need to talk right now. We don't gotta do too much. I just wanna take some time. Maybe you could open up. I don't wanna get involved, but I don't wanna leave you alone if you need me. I don't wanna put you out, but you've been ruining the fun. I don't wanna get involved, but I don't wanna leave you alone if you need me. I don't wanna put you out, but you've been ruining the fun. You've been